friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. And in today's video, I am doing a collab with two of my dearest friends, Smiley Shawnee and Jan Van, and of course, I'll link their channels in my description box. Now, we do monthly collabs, and we have been doing monthly collabs for quite some time, but we missed July because life happens and we all get busy, and you know, sometimes it's going to take a break from doing things, but we had to come back together for the month of August because the 18th of August, the day that we're uploading this collab video, is our 1-year friendiversary. Shawnee figured out that a year ago, around the 18th, or maybe even on the 18th, somewhere around there, but we're pretty sure it was the 18th, that the three of us really joined forces as the trio that we are. And so we wanted to do something really special to celebrate our 1-year friendiversary. We talked about what looks that we could create. I thought about maybe like copy kittying each other's looks, somehow figuring that out, because quite commonly on Sundays, Jan and Shawnee will do copy kittying a look collab where they choose a look from somewhere, Instagram, YouTube, wherever, and they'll recreate that, or maybe like an inspirational picture, and they'll recreate like the color scheme of that picture. So I thought that might be kind of fun. But then Jan came up with a great idea. She said, we all have a palette in common. And Jan and I got the palette because of the beautiful looks that Shawnee created with it. And actually, Shawnee and I have collabed with this palette before. But I created this eye look with the Sugar High palette from Menagerie Cosmetics. And it's got this cute Joey sugar glider on the front of it. And we have a big inside joke about what a baby sugar glider is called. And what I thought I would do for this look, or what I did for this look, not what I thought I would do, is I would incorporate Shawnee and Jan on my eyelids today. Now, Shawnee's favorite color, or well, is it her favorite color? Or, well, I think it is, right? Pink. I think she looks absolutely gorgeous in pink. So I did use this shade, and this shade here on my lids. I put this in my transition area. This is called, almost said invisible bug, snuggle bug. Then I blended it out with this shade here called Yogurt Drop, and then I put Sugary Sweet across my lids, my mobile lids. And then for my lower lash lines, I wanted to incorporate Jan, and because she does Blue Mondays, I grabbed the bluer shades out of the palette. This is kind of a bluey green, but this is Sweet Varieties. I put that across both lower lash lines. And then Falling with Style is this beautiful blue and purple duochrome, and purple also reminds me of Jan. So I just thought it would be fun to incorporate both women on my eyelids today for my look. I'm super excited to see what Jan and Shawnee will be doing with their looks for this video. Now, I'm gonna be totally honest, you guys. I sat down to film this video this morning, and my plan was to put my eye look together as I answered the questions, because of course we have some questions to answer. And these questions are all about our relationships with each other. And as I was putting my eye look together and answering the questions, I started bawling because some of these questions are kind of serious about our friendship and what they mean to me, and describing how I feel about them and the place that they have in my life, both of them. And I don't know, man, I got so emotional that I could not get my shiz together. So I got about halfway into the look, realized I can't do this. I'm gonna ruin my makeup. So I reached out to Jan and Shawnee because I told them I'm gonna go sit down and film the collab video. And they're like, okay, great, can't wait to see your video. Have fun, love you. So I get back on Marco Polo with a completely bare face, and I said, I can't do it today. I can't do it this morning. I can't stop crying. So Shawnee said, I have an idea. Why don't you put your makeup on and then just answer the questions? Maybe that would be easier since you already have your makeup look on. Maybe it'll stop you from crying. I don't know, you guys. I might end up bawling through this whole round too. I don't know. We'll see. So there are 20 questions that we're going to be answering. I came up with these questions. 10 of them are questions based on our friendships with each other. And then there's 10 questions that like kind of describe each person if they were something else, which this will make sense, I promise. Okay, so let's get into these friendiversary questions. I'm so excited. I'm going to try to maintain focus, and I said I'm going to try to detach myself emotionally, and Shawnee's like, Erica, detach yourself emotionally. Jan's like, yeah, you're cute. That's funny. Okay, number one, what is your earliest memory of each person? And I would say my earliest memory of both Jan and Shawnee was just seeing them on YouTube and also on Instagram. I think the first time I ever knew who Shawnee was, I saw pictures of her on Instagram and just thought she was incredibly beautiful. And Jan, I'm positive I saw her on YouTube and subscribed to her. I subscribed to both of them. As soon as I knew who they were and that they had channels, I subscribed to both of their channels. I don't have like a specific earliest memory other than just seeing them and knowing who they were, if that makes any sense. Number 2, what were your first impressions? Oh, wonderful. I thought Jan was absolutely jaw-droppingly, strikingly beautiful. I also thought as I watched her content that she was really fun and very like soft and very, just like a bright light is how I felt about her. A little intimidated by her because she's very talented and very creative. And I don't really see myself that way. So I remember being like, wow, like she's really good. I don't think I could ever do my makeup like that. Now with Shawnee, same thing. I mean, I just thought she was absolutely effervescently, vivaciously beautiful. And I remember finding out how old Shawnee was, and I was like, bullshit. Like, I did not believe she was as old as she was. I thought she's got to be like 20, 22, 25 max. I tell her all the time that she looks like she's 16. But Shawnee just stopped me right in my tracks. Just, whoa, who is this beautiful woman? And of course, watching her content, I thought she was absolutely hysterical, very intelligent. You know, I was laughing and then also being like, yeah, totally, yeah. You know, the whole time I was watching her content. And of course, I thought Jan was equally as intelligent. You know, just both of them were very striking to look at, but also very engaging and just had qualities that I admired and also that I resonated with, I would say. Number 3, when did you realize that you'd found a true friend in each person? Well, let's see. Jan, I would say, I really felt like she was my true friend, was when we started to DM each other on Instagram. Like, you know, we knew each other. We'd obviously subscribe to each other. We'd watch each other's content. But then she reached out to me, or maybe, I can't remember who reached out to who, and it doesn't matter, to do a collab. And sure, yes, let's do a collab. And then she and I started talking about our families, our kids, our grandkids. She has several, I have one. And just being able to relate to her as a grandma was really cool. Really cool. And how open she was with me about sharing things about her grandkids and kids and things like that. It was really special. And I just knew right then that we were going to be really good friends. Absolutely. Now with Shawnee, she and I became friends. And then I mentioned this in another video, and I don't want to spend a lot of time hammering on this because it's over and done with. And it's just, yeah. We had an issue where there was a person that was trying to kind of like badmouth me to Shawnee. And we just kind of got distant from each other. And the next thing I knew, Shawnee had reached out to me on Instagram and said, I want to do a collab with you. And I was like, oh, she does? Yay, this is amazing. And then she reached out to me again on Instagram and said, I want to apologize for distancing myself from you. But I love you so much, and I want us to reconnect, and I want us to be really close, get even closer than we were before. And I said, Shawnee, you got me, baby. You got me. You've always had me. But, you know, I just felt at that moment that like this person's being very vulnerable and very honest with me, and it really meant a lot to me. And I knew right then that she was a true friend. So yeah, I mean, I guess I felt like we were going to become friends, or we were friendly, or friends. Yeah, friendly, friends, whatever, before that. But those two things were the things that really made me realize, like, these are true blue, amazing friends for me, or to me, with me. I don't know. Number 4, when did you start communicating on a regular basis? Well, August 18th of 2023, or around there, but I think it was the 18th. I think Shawnee looked back through our text string. Basically, we had a DM chat group, the 3 of us, on Instagram. And then all of a sudden I was pulled into a chat or a text group on my cell phone with the three of us. And Shawnee labeled that group on Instagram, our DM chat group, the A team. And then she also did that for our cell phone text group. And then we also now have the three of us group on Marco Polo that's also titled the A team. So it's just so awesome. So yeah, that's really when we started talking pretty much every day. And we have talked, I would say, well, maybe a couple days here and there that we haven't talked just because busy lives are going on or things are happening that we just can't, communicate. But even if it's just like a hi or have a good day or a thumbs up, I think we've talked every day in some fashion since August 18th of 2023. Number 5, what do you think each person's strengths are? Now, this is where I lost my poo this morning, so I'm going to try to... let's see. Let's start with Jan. Jan's strengths are that she has a physical disability that does not impede her joy or her love for life at all. And that is something that I think is one of her many strengths, but just such an amazing strength that she has, because I have had back surgeries and went through a, very small fraction of my life dealing with a physical disability, and it ruined me for a while. It did. And Jan is just someone who is going to make the insurmountable thing be surmountable. Like, she's going to overcome it. And that is her biggest strength in my mind and in my heart. Shawnee, I think her biggest strength is her ability to set her eyes on a goal and get to that goal no matter what, but to do it with style and grace and class and intelligence. And that is her biggest strength, in my opinion. She's talked to me a lot about her educational career, and it's long and vast. And the fact that she, even though it was exhausting, and even though it was kind of pulling her away from having like maybe a more fun, more social, more, I guess, quote unquote, normal teenage and early 20s life, she didn't care. She was just very driven and very motivated to get to the end result, which is she is a doctor of psychology now. So that dedication and that drive and her commitment is a huge strength. Her biggest strength. Well, I mean, both of them have tons of biggest strengths, but those are the two things that stand out the most to me about both of them. Number 6, if you could borrow any trait from each person, what would it be? Oh, geez, if I could borrow any trait. Jan, I would want to borrow her vast knowledge of life things. I mean, Jan has like street smarts, life smarts. So that's the trait that I would want. Like, it doesn't really matter what we're talking about. If you ask Jan, she's going to have an answer for you, and it's going to be correct. Shawnee, the trait that I would love to take from her, or borrow from her, I won't take it, I'll borrow it for a little while and then maybe give it back, maybe, is her ability to counsel anyone, and she's a therapist, but she can counsel anyone through anything. And that is an extremely special gift that she has. You can talk to her about any issue that you're having, whether it's minor, whether it's major, and she can have a very calm and rational and educated and thoughtful approach, and be able to talk you through it. And I wish I had that too. Number 7, what do you think is the most beautiful aspect of each person? Let's do this in 2 ways. So I'm going to talk about the physical thing that I think is the most beautiful about both of them, and then the personality thing that I think is the most beautiful about both of them. So for Jan, her eyes and her hands are the most beautiful parts of, well, again, that's hard for me to say because I think a lot of other things about her are beautiful, but the 2 things that really have always just drawn me in physically are her eyes and her hands. She has the most beautiful piercing eyes, and her hands are very graceful and very lovely. And that's something I noticed right away when I started watching her content, was how absolutely beautiful her hands are. With Shani, I think her hair is absolutely beautiful. Her natural hair is absolutely beautiful. When she has braids, it's absolutely beautiful. She can wear her hair any length, anything, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I love her hairline. She has a beautiful hairline. And Shani's skin is absolutely incredible. This luscious, beautiful, glowy, radiant skin. And that is something, both of those things about Shani really drew me to her as well. Just her skin and her hair, absolutely gorgeous. The most beautiful part of Shani's personality, I have to say, her sense of humor. It's such a beautiful thing. And it makes me so happy. And it's really wonderful because sometimes I'll be in a really crappy mood and I will Marco Polo them, and Shani and I end up hysterically laughing. I mean, to the point where our faces hurt, our stomachs hurt, we're crying, we're gonna pee our pants. And she's turned my day around so many times with her sense of humor. And Jan's personality, just how, same sense of humor, but like, how do I word this? Her sarcasm, I think, is one of the most beautiful parts of her personality. She comes up with the funniest sayings. Like, if you guys have watched her channel, I'm sure you've heard them, like butterscotch tape and lasterday and regular and all those things. That is just so uniquely Jan. And I just think that's such a beautiful part of who she is and what makes her who she is. Like, it's the Janisms that she has is just such a beautiful part of who she is. I mean, there's lots of things I could talk about beautiful personality-wise with both of them, but those are the things, of course, I don't need to keep saying it, that stick out the most to me. Of course it is, or I wouldn't have said it. Number 8, what do you think is the most unique part of who each person is? I kind of answered that in my the last question, but to go a step further, I would say one of the most unique things about Jan is her ability to give every person in her life practically a nickname. And they're perfect nicknames. They absolutely fit the person. It's amazing to me. She has such incredible nicknames. And for Shani, I would say she can come up with really funny quips like that. Like, for instance, we were talking the other night on Marco Polo, and I can't remember now why she said this, but she said, "Quelle surprise." I don't know, it just got me. It got me. And also, she has these facial expressions that are unreal. And her facial expressions alone sometimes have brought me to my knees crying with laughter. Just the most emotive facial expressions, and really show how she's feeling. She doesn't really have a poker face, I wouldn't say. So like her quips, her quick timing quips, and then also her really amazing facial expressions. And you know that Jan really loves you when she gives you a nickname, and I have one. It's Gracie Lou. Number 9, what do you admire the most in each person? Oh, that's tough. And that got me. That's when I stopped. The admire the most question. I couldn't go on any further this morning. Okay, I can do this. What I admire the most about Jan, and I kind of already touched on this, but her ability to turn something that has been extremely difficult for her into something that has made her an even stronger, more independent. She might not agree with that, but she's got a very independent way of looking at the world and looking at just everything around her. She may have to rely on people sometimes physically, sure, but it's made her very mentally and emotionally and spiritually independent. And that is something that I truly admire and really want to emulate in my own life, absolutely. And with Shani, the thing that I admire the most is, like I mentioned before, her commitment and dedication and drive to make her life as enriched and as successful as she possibly could. And that's something that as a woman, I have always strived to have myself. And I I really wanted the educational life that Shawnee has and the job that Shawnee has now. Like that was what I thought I was going to do with my life, and it's not, and that's okay. I mean, I found my own path, different than what I thought it was going to be, but hey. So I really admire Shawnee because I feel like she like lived out my dreams. You know what I mean? I mean, she lived out her own dreams, but does that make sense? Like I had the dream to do what she did, but she did it. And so I really admire that about her a ton. Number 10, if you had to describe each person to a complete stranger using 3 words, what would those words be? Oh gosh. Okay. Give me a second here. Jan, I would say, okay. I got it. Oh, geez, man. Okay. You can do this, Erica. Jan, I would say angel. Okay, hold on. I'm going to get it together. Hold on. Okay, I'm centered again. Angel, Hero, and Nonny, because that's what her grandkids call her. And people might not understand what that would mean, but I'd maybe have to throw in a few more words to explain that. And with Shawnee, I would say strong. Oh boy. Okay. Can I don't know. Can I do this? I'm going to try to get through this. I'm sorry if this is really awkward, but ooh, this is tough, man. This is really tough. Okay. And for Shawnee, I would say strong, graceful, and irreplaceable. Okay. I did it. Damn. Whew, I'm so proud of myself. Okay. So now there's 10 more questions and then this video will come to an end, I promise. Then the last 10 here are, for each person, say which type they're most like for each category. Okay, number 1, animal. Now for Shawnee, I want to instantly say bear because I call her baby bear. But I would say a gazelle. She really has that grace and that like fluidity to her. She plays the steel drums. And if you've ever seen a video of that, which I don't know if any of you have, maybe somebody watching has, she is the most graceful steel drum player I've ever seen. It's truly just magical to watch her. It really is. And for Jan, I would say swan. I would say she reminds me the most of a swan. Just that beauty, that quiet beauty. That's what I would say. Number 2, flower. Shawnee, I have to say pink rose. And Janny, I would say a hydrangea. That's one of my favorite flowers. It's got the blue and the purple and the pink kind of variegated. And I don't know, it just reminds me of Jan. Number 3, jewelry or gemstone. Oh, Shawnee, I have to say ruby. That's her birthstone. And Janny, I would say opal. An opal reminds me of Janny. Just that kind of like, I don't know, mystical, magical, swirly stuff in an opal. Number 4, candy. Candy. I would say Janny would be Pop Rocks. I don't know why it just popped into my head. I don't know. I can just see Janny, if she were candy, she'd be Pop Rocks. Sweet, but sassy. And then Shawnee, I would say a cinnamon bear. Same kind of thing. Sweet, but spicy. Well, I guess Jan was sweet and sassy. Shawnee's sweet and spicy. Okay. Number 5, ice cream flavor. Well, the first thing that pops into my head for Shawnee is the Tonight Dough, because she loves that from Ben & Jerry's. So that's, I'd have to say that. And then for Janny, oh, what pops into my head is cookies and cream. It just does. Jan, do you like that? I don't know. I just think cookies and cream when I think of Janny. Number 6, scent. Ooh. I would say for Shawnee, like amber, something real sensual, sexual smell, amber. I have that sensual amber smell from Victoria's Secret, and I got it because Shawnee was talking about the fact that she has this amber smelling spray, I'm pretty sure. And for Jan, I would say like something very fresh, like, I don't know, I'm thinking like gardenia, magnolia, that really like florally yet fresh smell. That's what I think Jan would be. Number 7, car. I would say that Shawnee would be a Rolls Royce. You know, very stylish, very elegant. And Jan is all fun to me. I'm going to say a Harley Davidson motorcycle. That's Jan to me, man. Just let's go, okay? Number 8, I mean, that's not really a car, but that's what I'm saying. Number 8, eyeshadow color. Pink for Shawnee and bluey purple for Jan, of course. Number 9, lipstick shade. Shawnee would be that really bright, vibrant purple. She got that bright, vibrant purple shade at the makeup show where she met Danessa Myricks. And that shade, I think that would be her. And Jan to me would be like a real deep burgundy red. Yes. And the last one here, number 10, beverage. I think Shawnee would be sweet tea. And Janny would be a tequila sunrise. Okay, so those were my answers to the 20 questions that I came up with, all about this 1-year friendiversary for me, Shawnee, and Jan. This is the coolest, it really is. This was so much fun, first of all, to put these questions together. Second of all, to actually be able to put my makeup on and get through this and not cry it all off. That was really cool too. And the fact that we all have the same palette, it reminds us of Shawnee. Does it remind Shawnee of herself? I don't know. Also, just to celebrate, of course, these beautiful relationships that we all share with each other. I mean, I have said this before, and I'm not kidding, okay? I'm not kidding. This is not me just spouting stuff out of my face hole. I don't know how I managed in my life without these two women. I don't. I do not know how I did it. I was a lot quieter, a lot less fun, a lot less beautiful, a lot less magical, a lot less just warm and fuzzy and lovey and snuggly. And what's really incredible is that the three of us have never met face to face, and we have this incredible, I believe, lifelong bond with each other. And I just think we're going to be doing these friendiversary collabs for the rest of our lives. I mean, we're going to be 90 years old. At that point, I think we'll all be living in a home together, side by side, trying to remind each other who each other are and answering some friendiversary questions. Now, if you have not yet gone to their channels, you better do it. After watching this video and hearing me talk about how incredible and how special and how wonderful and how much I love both of them, and you don't go to their channels and subscribe, I don't know. There's not much hope for you. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, comment down below in the comment section. I love to chat with you guys there. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself. Be well, safe, happy, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Drop it.